I have what's called high-functioning autism, which is a terrible name for what I have, because it gives the impression that I function highly. I do not. To give you an idea of what it feels like to be on the spectrum, basically it feels like being the only sober person in a room full of drunks. Or the other way around. Basically, everyone is operating on a wavelength you can't quite key into.
I hate being personal in my videos. Mainly because, who cares, am I right? Like, the personal life of a stranger on the internet should not matter to you. Having said that, this video does call for some sincerity on my part. Now, I too have autism, and it's very weird. Like, I'm aware on some level that how I think is very different to others. I have a low social battery, I have trouble articulating my feelings to others, and I get overstimulated. The point is that I haven't been living that part of myself as honestly as I should. And I need to. However, please forgive me, as I must digress by beating a dead horse. There's an excuse that Isaac Butterfield uses when justifying his jokes. It's pretend. However, when he tried to explain that to his own father, this was the response.
But I was pissed off because I'd like to talk to that person. And I'd like to explain to that person that this is not reality.
See, you send out mixed signals. So you're a comedian, right? Let's laugh at ourselves.
Sure.
I get that. That's you over here. But here you are now, and as you do regularly, you talk about really serious topics. So now you're a social commentator. So you're actually a social influencer. And so you're toggling between, I'm just talking shit to now I'm talking serious. And people aren't sure exactly where you're sitting, so...
My question, however, is this. Who is the real Isaac Butterfield? Like, we all know about Isaac the YouTuber and Isaac the comedian, but what's beneath all that? When I watch Kid Icarus or Donkey or DJ Peach Cobbler or whomever, I know they're kidding, but I also know where they're coming from. I don't feel the same way about Isaac's videos. I don't know whether he says the things he says because he genuinely believes them, or because he's in desperate need of the money from his mostly right-wing audience. I do not blame Isaac for becoming a slave to the algorithm. It's sad watching someone doing the same thing over and over and over again for whatever small profit they can obtain. He's not lying per se, but there is a lack of sincerity or heart in his work. There's no person behind the performance, so to speak. What I'm saying is that when you've been hiding behind a mask for so long, a truth, however brutal, can be beautiful.
I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I hate you. Your deft handling of your unfortunate circumstances, your uniqueness, your ability to surpass me, all these irritate me. You're the one person I refuse to lose to.
Persona 5, or Persona 5 Royal to be exact, is the greatest work of art known to humankind, and I won't hear a word otherwise. As the player character codenamed Joker, you and your buddies traverse the minds of abusers, criminals, and general wrongdoers to make them atone for their sins. Now, for context, the average playthrough of Persona 5 Royal is about 130 hours. I want you to keep this in mind when I say that the highest compliment I can give this game is that, within the space of 6 months, I beat it twice.
We are dealing with someone here who has absolutely no life.
A common motif in the game is exploitation by the system. Kamoshida was the one exploiting the students of Shujin, but the school covered it up. Likewise, the justice system, meant to serve and protect the public, was used to persecute an innocent child standing up against the sexual predator. Madarame is a perfect representation of commerce ruining art, something that Yusuke thankfully breaks free of. Okumura is basically the manifestation of why we need unions, and Shido, Well, he's a politician, fuck that guy. All the Phantom Thieves, even Morgana, were exploited by those meant to protect them, including Shido's hired hand, Goro Akechi.
Don't make me laugh! Justice! Righteous! Keep that shit to yourselves! You and your teammates piss me off!
Whilst the original version of Persona 5 just sorta left him dead at the end, the Royal version expands on both his arc and personality, effectively making him, in my opinion, the best and most compelling character in the game.
What say we save the idle chatter for later and keep moving? Unless teaming up with a ruthless sort of person is too much for you to handle.
It's fun to root for the bad guys sometimes. There's the ones that make legitimate sense a lot of the time.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetites.
Other times, they just don't care how villainous they are.
A smile is a valuable tool, my dear. It inspires your friends, keeps your enemies guessing, and ensures that no matter what comes your way, you're the one in control.
So it's fine if you're a weirdo, like me, who enjoys the multifaceted and psychotic personality of Goro Akechi. However, I will not make any apologies for the fact that he did murder some folk. Although one of them did have it coming. Just saying. Now, you're a smart cookie, and you're probably expecting me to say that Akechi lands somewhere on the autism spectrum, like how Futaba and Yusuke are coded as such. I cannot say for certain whether he is or not, although what I can say is that Akechi, at least in the third semester, does embody an idea of what I, as an autistic person, want to be.
Remaining in this Maruki revised reality means living under his thumb forever. And I refuse to live like that. I'll be the one to choose my path. That's how I've lived up to now. And it's going to continue from here till the end.
There's a term called masking, whereby autistic people inhabit more sociable behaviors when participating in larger society. Work, school, sports, the communal dance scene on Phil Spector's grave, you know, normal stuff. It seems fine, but it does lead to an autistic person suffering burnout, unfortunately. Now, given that Akechi had a public false identity as the sincere, righteous detective prince, and then actually shows his true self around those whomst he wants them to see, mainly Joker, you look me in my cold, dead eyes and tell me that that isn't masking behavior. In the third semester of Royal, Akechi doesn't hide who he is anymore. He's a lot more unhinged in battle, fully embracing his true chaotic personality.
Look at this scum pile up. Fine by me. Time for a bloodbath.
It's a level of unrestrained freedom of oneself that I sometimes yearn for. Now, I want to make it clear that Akechi isn't seeking redemption. He is not motivated by altruism, nor is he seeking forgiveness. He is perfectly aware of the crimes he committed, and is willing to pay for them. This is more personal for Akechi. Having been manipulated for so long by his father, he wants total agency over both his destiny and his spirit. He'd rather die as his true self, rather than live a moment longer masking as someone he's not. An ideal I personally would like to embody.
I will carve my own path for myself. I refuse to accept a reality concocted by someone else, stuck under their control for the rest of my days. I will never accept this form of reality. I'm done being manipulated. Let's go back to our true reality.
Taking inspiration from Akechi is strange, but I hope to live as authentically as I possibly can until I die, which, knowing my luck, will be from my cat sleeping on my face. This world is getting a little bit more hostile towards us neurodivergent people, but that is all the more reason for us autistic folk to show the world who we really are. So, in that spirit, I will end this video with a quote from, of all people, William Shakespeare, words that I think Goro Akechi lived by at the end. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
After all this, that's what you have to say. Seriously, you really are